Hello, I'm Tibor from Boomla. Let's create a custom library class for the Boomla Visual Designer. Again, library classes allow you to reuse the same style in multiple places. So let's open the designer and select this element and select the designable root. So when using the Visual Designer to create a library class, I usually like to use an element with very little styling, remove those styles as well, and then apply mine so that then I can turn the classes on this element into a reusable library class. So that's what I'm going to do. This element has very few. I'm going to delete the library classes and these two outers. And we end up with a clean sheet. And we are going to create a pop effect now. So to do this, first I'm going to create a hover state. And on the hover state, I want to apply a transformation that is going to scale up the element a little bit and rotate it to the left. I also want to apply a transition to it. So I'm going back to the base state because I not only want the transition to be applied, by the way, so this jumps. By the transition, I mean a smooth transition. So back here, I want the transformation to apply not only when we hover, but when we stop hovering. So we need to apply this transformation to the base state. So go for transition and transition all, duration 150 milliseconds, timing easy and out. For the duration and timing, I just recommend you use these. And for the property, well, depending on the scenario, you want to be more specific, it's more performant, but usually all is good enough. Okay, so as you can see, now we have a smooth transition. Now, let's turn it into a library class. I'm going to select this element, right click showing the IDE. Remember, it's called text2. So this is our file, and it contains a style file with our style definitions for the class name E1. It's called E1 because back here, back to designer, select this element, the designable one. This was called E1 here, so the two names match there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this style and go level up until we reach the root file. Then go inside it, go into sys, and if there's no turbo file, then create it. Inside turbo, create a file named T1. This is for turbo version 1. Go inside it and enter block mode and paste the file we have copied here. I'm closing block mode, and now I'm going to rename this to my.turbo, where my is the library name. This will show up in the Visual Designer. Okay. And if we go back to the Visual Designer and reload it, select whatever element, my.e1 will show up here. But E1 is not very descriptive, so let's rename it. I'm going to name it pop because this is a pop effect. So let's name it pop, save, go back, refresh, designer, select any designable element, and you can see my.pop is there. So yeah, let's find an element that we want to apply it to. So maybe this button, there it would make sense. So right now when we hover the mouse, the colors change a little bit. Let's add the my.pop library. Now let's unselect it. Now it will pop. You can use it in any number of places. By the way, we are still using the original inline style definitions here. So let's remove them here, because we want to use the pop effect instead from the library. So go back to the base class and say my.pop. So now it comes from the same central library definition. We can go to the home page and apply this style to pretty much any of the elements, even an image or an entire gallery. So come back here, my.pop. There you go, it pops. Now the reason why it's cut off in this case is because one of the parents of this image have an overflow hidden defined on it. So let's see where it is. Not here. There you go, overflow hidden. So if we want to make the entire image grow, instead of just inside kind of a window, we would go here, clear the my.pop library, and move higher up in the tree until we find the right place where we want to apply it. You can see the shadow is not moving in this case because it's an overlay apparently. So now this is not the right place either. Let's move one more up and add my.pop here. And now the shadow moves as well. So this was the right place. Yeah, so that's how you create a custom library class. By the way, if you look at the code here, it's actually not as hard to understand what's going on. So this is the hover prefix. A transition is applied upon hover. So while you're not going to write this code from the start, you might want to tweak it. It's quite easy to pick it up. All right, so that's how you create a custom library class.